Hello everyone, welcome to CXO Spice. CXO Spice is a platform for thought leaders to share their point of view on innovation and explain how to make it happen in real world. Today's topic is the era of digital self-service. Our special guest is Richard Smullen, the founder and CEO of Pypestream. Hello, Richard. Welcome to CXO Spice.
Thanks, Helen. Good to be here.
So I'm so honored to serve as a board advisor for Pypestream since 2019. Proud to be on this growth journey with you in the past 4.5 years, Richard. Tell us more about you and the origin of Pypestream and its journey to date.
Yeah, happy to share, Helen. So I'm South African, first of all. So for those at home trying to figure out the accent, and I moved to the US 15 years ago. New York originally, and now based in Miami, although Pypestream is headquartered out of New York. And we're a virtual company, close to 100 individuals, and we meet up in New York and do the hybrid thing pretty well. And started Pypestream 9 years ago almost, Helen, and it was basically started out of a personal need that I had. I'm a technologist by education and information systems architect by I guess formal education in college. And my whole the impetus for Pypestream was me as a consumer being very, very frustrated with having to call businesses and deal with individuals to help me do something at the business. And in other words, the call center and the whole contact center model. And a particular incident one day with Delta Airlines where I was in a dinner and I was WhatsApping with my sister in New York, asking her to help me change a flight quickly. And then she was on the phone with a Delta representative. And at the end of the call, thought to myself, wait a minute, why couldn't I have just been messaging back and forth with Delta and doing exactly what both my sister and the agent did to help me? And 9 years ago was when Uber and a lot of these Web 2.0 and consumer-centric apps were coming out to disrupt everything from insurance to home delivery and the like. And that Uber experience of helping yourself to get a car, 3 swipes and a click, and you're at the airport. I thought to myself, why can't that have been the experience I just had with the airline? Yes, I had the app, but I wanted it to be more conversational, more specific to my needs. And at that moment thought, well, that's a perfect opportunity to create something and bring technology to the market that could help any consumer or any end user. They could be patients, they could even be employees. There could be any individual who wants to have an outcome with a business through a process and would typically phone to have that process helped with, creating the technology for the customer to do it themselves or the end user to do it themselves. So we call this self-service. And the notion is anything someone was assisting you with, you can now do yourself. And there's all sorts of technology and methodology behind it, including AI, which I know we'll get onto shortly. And over the last 3 or 4 years in particular, since we brought the platform to the market, we've seen tremendous adoption on the platform, and really a lot of large organizations, in particular Fortune 500 type companies, saying, we agree. We want to move our service model from human in the loop or human-centric model to a self-service model and actually empower our customers, empower the patients, the end users, whoever it is, to do things on their own. And with automation and AI and good things we'll talk about today, this is now possible. So we've got a number of these large Fortune 500 customers. We're spread across a spectrum of use cases across the world, multiple languages. At any given time, if all consumers that are able to use our customers' products would access Pypestream at the same time, and it's through a new digital interface called a Pype, which we put on the website or inside our customers' apps. If all customers were able to do that at once, close to 400 million consumers would be able to self-serve at once through Pypestream. So it's becoming ubiquitous, it's becoming very powerful. And over the next 2 or 3 years, we believe it's going to really take the lion's share of volume away from call centers. And we're at the forefront of this. So thank you for what you do in your advisory role. I know you've seen the potential, and we're really excited to really bring this to the world now.
Absolutely, Richard. Thank you so much for creating Pypestream. It's an exciting time, right? And so speaking of digital self-service, and what does it really mean, right? How does it differ from the traditional customer service method?
Self-service in its most raw form is the ability to do something yourself, have absolutely nobody assist you. So websites were a form of self-service. Then IVRs, the interactive voice response systems at call centers, were a form of self-service. And then apps were self-service. And then chatbots, the idea was self-service. They just didn't have enough functionality, so it hasn't really worked out in traditional chatbot sense. And I'll share with you what's the difference between Pypestream and all these chatbot vendors, of which it's close to 2,000 out there. But essentially, self-service is providing the tools that are hyper-personalized and very functional anywhere, anytime. So to mobility devices, you could be in your car, in your Tesla, and be able to do something on the screen there, or on your phone, or even talking on your phone through a voice robot, and essentially letting you dictate when you get the outcome you want and what outcome you want. So is it troubleshooting your Roku, or is it canceling your cable, or is it notifying the insurance that you just had some kind of loss? So really any of those processes, and they're always multi-step processes that otherwise someone would have helped you through. Now you go through those processes all on your own. And for us, the big differentiator is how immersive is the experience in that interface. So that which you go through as the consumer to help yourself, is it very visual? Can you swipe a few times, do a few squigglies, a click, and you're done? And that really makes self-service very powerful when you take advantage of a lot of these modern UI and digital elements. And now when you couple that with AI so that the system can actually understand what it is you're trying to do and ask you more questions so it could be more precise with the outcome, then it just becomes the absolute holy grail of self-service. So visual experience plus AI, and then most importantly, the ability for the AI to replace that agent who was in a swivel chair clicking on different screens. Now AI can click on the screens, and that's automation. That's actually the hard part. And so we've built that entire platform. So you're taking the systems, combining them with AI, and displaying them to an individual and saying, now you run these 3 steps on your own, and making it very intuitive. And so that differs from all those other products or traditional customer service channels as you described, because it's just very sophisticated and it's built on outcome delivery. So it's only presented to you as an end user as an option if it will get you to the outcome you want, which means you'll do it yourself and not have to make that phone call, which, by the way, costs businesses anywhere from $2.50 to $6 per phone call. Mm-hmm. So if you can prevent that phone call from happening, it's a dramatic cost-saving exercise, which is why this transformation is becoming so prolific.
Well, I have to say, Richard, besides the financial benefit, Pypestream totally changed my perception for chatbot, right? Before that, it was really challenging sometimes. You can tell the difference between a bot and versus human, but Pypestream, that, as you said, immersive, that's interactive, the graphic enriched solution or interaction with human, it was just blew my mind. So thank you for making that happen. Speaking of AI, right, you mentioned about AI. How does Pypestream utilize AI to enhance this digital self-service capabilities?
We partner with the best of breed, and right now there are so many vendors out there. It's remarkable to see how fast this evolution of AI is taking place. And hats off to OpenAI and what they did with exposing GPT to consumers, because that really started this euphoria. And there's so many of them right now. So at Pypestream, we want to partner with the best of breed, and if they're newer, better models, we'll bring those to our clients. And what we realized was a human assisting a customer, so an agent in the call center, is essentially trying to understand what it is you're trying to do and then making a decision, and based on a process or set of steps or rules, run through that process on your behalf. So we figured that if we can train a large language model and do some unique fine-tuning on the AI models, which we do, and that's proprietary to Pypestream, we can train AI to understand what it is you're trying to do, Helen, or why you're trying to do it. And we can also train it on resolution options and potential alternatives. For example, if you want to cancel your account, maybe convince you not to and give you something to incent you not to cancel. And so AI in the Pypestream world is used across a number of different areas. The predominant one is that understanding of what the customer is trying to do, ask them questions and get enough information to then perform that automation. AI is also very capable of being proactive and predicting what it is you're trying to do. So we have AI that is sitting in the background, and if you're a Sling TV customer or a Max customer with Warner Brothers Discovery, where we power all of Max's customer service worldwide, and we see you're having buffering, our AI will pick that up and send you a message and say, hey, Helen, we see you're having buffering. No need to phone the call center. Let's help you troubleshoot. So proactive customer service is really what's going to set everyone apart. And we've built the AI engine to facilitate that. We also use AI in how we train our large language models and how we can actually use AI to create the right fine-tuning. There's a lot of sprinkling of AI across the whole platform. It's a phenomenal addition to the self-service landscape because of its ability to feel very organic. As you said, you can't tell the difference between a human and AI, and that's remarkable. It wasn't like that even 9 months ago. Now it's prevalent. And so that ability, combined with knowing how to train that AI, use the company's call center training manuals, their call center logs, and then build a very strong brain, if you will, that can interact with the customer, the patient, the employee, helping them through and making it very visual. So instead of saying, hey, Helen, put in your credit card number here, which our system would say, typically, if it wanted your credit card, our AI will pull a beautiful visual out of our automation system and slide it up into the interface. It will be branded the customer's name, and you'll type your name and credit card number in there. It will immediately show you a visual of an encryption because it's now safe and it's going into GovCloud, which is where this is all hosted. So we're up there with government certified security protocols. And then it will now update your credit card. So very, very interactive. It almost feels like an app and a chat, and I guess a call center all came together. And we say that if the three of them had a child, it would be a Pype. And our interface is called a Pype, a Pype. And so the confluence of all of these technologies is what we bring in one off-the-shelf product.
Well, congrats on achieving GovCloud. That's a major milestone for a startup. I actually came across this Workday research recently. 80% of leaders believe AI is competitive advantage. What are some common challenges that companies face when implementing digital self-service service that leverage AI, and how does Pypestream address them?
I think the biggest challenge, well, there's a number of big challenges. So one of the biggest challenges is who owns this, and are they willing to take a risk by trying something new? And we find that oftentimes it's a chief digital officer, it's the CIO who's realizing that his 3-year project of buying 10 different products and hiring a big consultancy firm to try and bring it all together is just not paying off. And so the first biggest challenge is who's prepared to put their hand up and say, I'm doing this, I'm going to take the risk, I've got some budget, let's go. Once that individual's identified, then the next challenge is, well, what are the use cases? Where can this technology, and forget about the technology for a second being specific to a vendor. Let's assume all the vendors' technology can solve the problem. What is the use case? Where are we going to switch this technology on so that we can immediately see impact, prove the point and concept to our stakeholders or our management, and then get more buy-in, both budget and departments wide, to roll this out further. And so if a company can find the person to raise their hand and say, I'm going to do this. And by the way, for those listening who are in a position to just jump into this and say, I'm going to try something different, you will be the hero, because this is transformative, it works, and your end users are going to love this. Your CIO may not, unless you're the CIO. Some of your legacy technology partners may not, because they've probably bought products and are trying to bring it together. But this is so quick and easy with the cloud now. You can get this off the shelf. It's shrink wrapped and customized in days, not months. So find that person, and if you're that person, just go for it. And then have the right partner who you choose help you identify where to start. So one thing that we realized in Pypestream, and a differentiator to answer the other part of your question, is where can we switch this on to demonstrate impact as quickly as possible? And we have a professional services group called PypeX. These are ex-consultants, linguists, data scientists that basically move into our customers very quickly as this almost like a SWAT team that goes in and they ask the right 35 questions, 40 questions, whatever it is. And based on the answers, we come up with a matrix of where, if we switch on self-service and automation, you'll immediately see impact. And we can get to that outcome within a day. And once we get to that outcome, we go and we do the user persona definitions so that the AI and the automation is very customized. And then we start building these journeys. We connect to your data. So we specialize in data interaction. We do tagging and labeling and organizing. And we specialize in business process re-architecture. You can't take a typical process you had and put it through AI and expect it to work. You have to change that, because if it goes in as garbage, it comes out as garbage. So you need the same partner to re-engineer some of the process. If it was 12 steps with a human involved, it may just be 5 with AI. Well, what are those 5? Identify them and author them as this process flow. And we do all of that as one. So Pypestream is the technology, the data manager, the AI. We bring the front end that I described, the pipe, and all the process re-engineering. And that combination is really allowing this transformation to happen very quickly and mitigate the risk and the challenges. So when you find that champion who is willing to do this, they want to know they're not going to back or find the wrong partner. And then the right partner will help them find the use cases, which is the second biggest challenge. And then I guess the third, Helen, is really just sticking at it. This takes a bit of time. You have to trust the partner that they will help you fix any issues and challenges, that they have the good analytics in place to watch users traverse through and then continue to improve the system, which is something we built in also, because you can't just build it and hope they will come. Well, you can hope they'll come, but you can't hope they'll stay if it's not going to work. And you have to continuously iterate and improve to make it work. And that's part of this PypeX program that we offer also. So we fully handhold, turnkey, off the shelf, up and running within a couple of days, and then we become your partner for life as this expands and we add more functionality, which is key.
Very well said, Richard. I've seen some of the success you've had with many customers in the past few years. I also came across was that partnership announcement with Loop Media recently. So please share with us a customer success story, highlight some of the key benefits of the digital self-service solutions you have.
Yeah, I'll touch on a few very quickly. So Loop is fantastic. Loop, public company, they supply restaurants and other venues with a device. It's very much like an Apple TV device, connects to a TV in that venue. You connect that device to the internet, and now on that TV you have Loop's content streaming with ads and music videos, sports. It's fantastic. And they share revenue with the venue based on the advertising that is consumed on that venue. So massive business, tens of thousands of sites, growing like wildfire. And our self-service allows the restaurant to connect the device, choose the channels they want, and now also select different content that they can have on the device. So it's got a recommendation AI system built in. It's got an onboarding payment. It's all done instead of the restaurant owner calling a call center when he gets the device and now needing to set that up manually. So that's, in that case, they paid for it in 6 months based on what they saved at the call center. and their customers love it because it's so easy to go in and say, hey, I need another device, or how do I change these channels? And then our AI will help them do that and do it for them. Another great example is TriWest. So TriWest is one of the 2 providers of health insurance to veterans, and that is under Veterans Affairs here in the US. And if you're a veteran, you either have TriWest or Optum as your health insurance. And prior to Pypestream, which is now spread across the whole TriWest network, you as a patient, a veteran, would have to make a phone call to book appointments to get information about any benefits or issues of payment or the like. And that was very frustrating, quite frankly, very unfair to individuals who dedicated their life to this country and protecting this country, and they were just made to sit on hold. And TriWest had this brilliant idea of wanting to automate that and bring AI, and they did this 6 years ago. They were so ahead of the curve. And hats off to David McIntyre, the CEO, and the whole team there that said, this is not on. Veterans need to have the ultimate care, the ultimate attention, and we want to put AI and automation in their path, and they have. And it's just been a phenomenal project where we've reduced the time it takes any veteran to make appointments, to get information about any conditions, what to do in post-operative care, and getting advice, and really helping them feel that the system is more responsive. So that one is obviously a very important one for Pypestream. We also work with restaurant brands, so Burger King, Popeyes, Tim Hortons, around customer service and customer care, loyalty. They've seen phenomenal uptake in just customers' appreciation that these brands are willing to give them help so quickly and not force them to phone anymore if they have something to report or they want to find out information, that it's all done through AI and the Pypestream automation. And that was a pure ROI model of having paid for the solution in a couple of months. The list goes on, Helen. We've got dozens of Fortune 500 customers, some obviously under NDA. These few I've described. Procter & Gamble's another one. So Gillette use us for Gil, which is their virtual assistant, which used to be a chatbot, and now it's a much more advanced virtual assistant, and Oral-B and some of the P&G brands. And really exciting to see how many different use cases are wanting to embrace self-service and empower end users to do things themselves.
Yeah, so congrats, right? There's, without saying the impact you've made for the industry. So thank you so much for doing that. Well, here it comes to a question tops of everyone's mind. How does Pypestream integrate with Gen AI to provide a seamless customer experience?
Yeah, and when I said earlier that we partner with best of breed AI, that is Gen AI. So the Open AIs and Palm Toolbars of the world, great partners of Pypestream. And so what we will do is we'll take the customer's entire call center logs and the training material that agents are used to train on support. Mm-hmm. And we'll ingest that into a large language model from one of these Gen AI vendors, whether it's OpenAI, so GPT or Bard, Palm 2, etc., and then build this entire dialogue with a lot of ring fences and a lot of guardrails, sorry, ring fences, or the similar concept, so that the AI doesn't talk about things it's not supposed to. So anything controversial, anything that is outside of what this service environment should be providing, the AI will say, I'm so sorry, I'm not here to answer that, but feel free to go to Google, and I'm sure Google will answer that question for you. And so our inclusion of Gen AI is through those partnerships and building the ability for our automation system to get more information and feel like a human dialogue.
Yeah. You actually mentioned about this earlier, Richard, for companies who want to stay ahead of the curve in terms of emerging trends and technology, where should they start? I actually came across the Pypestream CX 9-step guide and find it very practical. I'd like you to reiterate that a little bit so that people can resonate with the audience here.
Yeah, and I'll do a very quick version of it. It all comes down to identifying the use case and then the audience that are going to benefit from this and where you'll see immediate business impact. Mm-hmm. And so our guide is really our process as Pypestream to help you get there. We don't believe you should just give a large organization the platform, the technology, and say, all right, go build, and here's the instruction manual. It's too nuanced. It's too impactful, this, because you want to get it right, because when you get it right, it transforms everything. And when the CEO is talking about it in a shareholder report or results, it's very, very impactful, meaningful. And that's what's happened with some of our customers. And so this CX guide really is our blueprint for how we onboard customers. We come in there, we have a meeting, we go in prepared with these questions we ask, so we figure out where to start. We learn about your backend systems. What are you using? Is it software we're already connected to, or do we need to build an integration? Pypestream's got over 500 out-the-box integrations. Think of us as a Zapier on steroids. It's just a much more enterprise version of that type of automation backend. So hopefully you have the systems. Salesforce is the Guidewires, the Amdocs, the Netcrackers, the Expensifiers, whatever it is, the SAPs. And if you don't, we build them for you. So we come in, we learn about the systems you have, we learn what the use cases are, and then we look to see what are the available APIs and ways we can connect. And then what we do is we want to see which users interact with the business for that particular use case. And we create persona definitions, and we create these maps of how the users, and these empathy maps, actually, how these users feel, what they think, what they do, and what they say when they're having this interaction. And we map that for 4 or 5 typical users that a customer would have. We then build their problems and what is the solution using Pypestream's technology. And then once it's signed off by our customer, we go and we build it. And once we build it, we do testing while we switch it on, and then we do iterations through the analytics. So the 9-step guide is really that whole process. And we found that partnering with our customers to do this all for them, so they can focus on being an airline, or focus on being an insurance company, or focus on being a mobility provider, is really what they should be doing. And they leave this to us, but we do it together. And it's turned out to be a phenomenal model for us. And it's helped us really build connection with the clients and trust in them, where they know that Pypestream's there for them. And the 9-step guide is really just, as I said, the blueprint and the explanation of those steps that we perform.
Well, that's refreshing, right? You started with customer, what matters to them, and then it's purely building out the value, create the value based on their needs. So thank you for doing that. Here comes to my last question, Richard. What is your prediction on the digital self-service?
There's so many, Helen. I think the most important one is, if the whole world is self-serving, will there be a need for call centers anymore? And we are starting to see, through the adoption of our platform and the volume, that call centers and our customers are having significant reduction in headcount, saving a lot of money and driving a lot of profitability. So it's a wonderful opportunity for businesses to find a place to really cut costs. And a lot of the individuals that were in the call center are reskilling into new roles, or finding different opportunities in the businesses. So it's been a really good impetus to educate and reskill a lot of these individuals. And if that really happens at scale, which we believe will happen over the next 2 to 3 years, we think the call center is going to go the way of the fax machine. It's just going to be a natural evolution, that a digital self-service channel took over a manual channel, just like email took over from fax. We think self-service and using AI and automation, like we do at Pypestream, will take over from calls. And so that's a big prediction through to 2 to 3 years from now. If you think that the call center world is over $300 billion spend a year, this is in headcount, to support over 5 billion calls a year going around the world. And this is in technology and infrastructure and offices. And if you think that self-service is a fraction of the cost, then will bring a couple of $100 billion back into companies' bottom lines, and it will open up a $20 to $50 billion industry for self-service at scale. So we think we're well on the way. It's happening now much quicker because AI is getting so smart and automation is getting so powerful. And so our prediction is 2 to 3 years, most volume is going to go through self-service, and call centers are going to still be there, have a very important role to play, but they'll be for the less high volume interactions, more emergency related, health related, very personal type of interactions where empathy and more humanistic interactions are required. And so they'll coexist, and we think they will, and they're already playing well together. But 90% of those repetitive tasks or requirements, which are 90% of the volume, will move into self-service.
That's profound, Richard. So thank you so much for sharing your perspective on digital self-service with us today. Here are 4 key takeaways from our conversation. Number 1, right, you highlighted the call center industry. That's $300 billion cost with 5 billion number of calls. And then, self-service, if we implement it right, that could be $20 to $50 billion business in the next 2 to 3 years. So that underscores the significance of your solution in digital self-service era, right? And then secondly, the visionary businesses aim to enhance customer experience and cost efficiency through conversational self-service in customer care. Your customer success story of TriWest and some restaurants and P&G all resonate with me. And then thirdly, you talk about how embracing digital self-service era, implementing the digital self-service solution can optimize performance, provide valuable insights from customer interactions. That's really, I also think that Pypestream is really, really a well-designed, well-built, well-maintained the self-service solution. It enhanced customer engagement, build brand loyalty, right? Congratulations on. And lastly, leveraging AI-powered digital service to enhance customer experience not only boosts customer retention and revenue, it also becomes a competitive advantage to businesses. You mentioned about PypeX, right? The team handles everything from design to launch and optimization of digital self-service. I'm glad to hear you integrate with generative AI seamlessly. You ensure bank-level security, offer that personalized dashboards, achieve high CSAT scores. I actually saw 90% CSAT score, 7x ROI in a year, along with average cost saving of $10 million. So thank you so much for Pypestream for being at the forefront of innovation, enabling digital self-service. And thank you everyone for joining us today. Stay hungry, stay bold, and stay grateful.